What do you think's next for social media and user-generated content?
Well, the stock answer to that question is, if I knew I wouldn't be here, I'd be earning £1 million somewhere else. And I think that's probably a sensible answer, frankly. I mean, you can see trends and you can see what where things are going, but what'll actually happen? I mean, who predicted Twitter? Who predicted that the power and the rise of not just its function, but the power and the rise and the influence that it's having? I mean, I think what we're trying to do at the BBC is to engage more with external platforms. I think that content will become atomised. So there'll be bits of video, text pieces that people will share amongst themselves. So as they're doing already, and I think that trend will increase. I think we as a news organisation need to engage, which is what we're beginning to do, engage more with external audiences that don't come directly to the BBC, and engage in conversation and dialogue with them, and do it the right way, i.e. not just take all their good bits of video, incorporate it into our stuff, and say thank you very much. Or the reverse of that is, here you lot out there, here's a really good package I made for Newsnight, go and watch it. But actually pulling the audience, for want of a better word, description, into the process, listening to what they have to say. So you've got this really kind of dynamic relationship going on, and I think that there's an increasing expectation that from the audience that is appropriate, that they want to and can share their views, share their experiences, and their outlook, and we need to be listening to that. We need to be listening to what matters to our audience and understanding where they are on a particular story, in order that we can then report on it and cover it effectively. Because if we're not, then we're dealing with issues that aren't of consequence to them. Or report. I mean, an example of that is this whole issue of knife crime. And the knife crime stats is people just don't believe. They just don't believe them because their personal experience is such that if you talk to the police, if you report stuff to the police, you get no joy from them. That may or may not be true, but that's their impression and their interpretation. Therefore, they don't bother to report crime. Therefore, why should they believe the crime stats? Now, that may or may not be an empirical truth, but it's their perception. And if you don't engage with that perception in the way that you tell the story or the way that you report the next set of crime figures, then they're not going to believe, the audience isn't going to believe you. So it's absolutely, I think that's what's happening, is that the bringing together of the audience and the news reporter and the news organisation will continue apace, I think.
Could I ask you, I've got a couple of questions from Twitter,
Okay.
which are always the most juicy ones. Andy Mabbott wants to ask, why don't you link back to people if they send? He said if he sends a picture in, for example, why doesn't the BBC link back?
We credit their picture, and when we run our what we call our live event pages, the As It Happens pages, if we incorporate tweets, we link to their Twitter stream. We do that already. The principle behind we absolutely embrace the principle of linking on and linking through. I think the question would be: is it if Andy sends in a picture because he happened to witness a particular event, how relevant is the rest of his content to the audience? I think we'd have to take a view on that. But I would absolutely wholeheartedly take on his point about the importance of linking and connecting and crediting, and it's something that we're working on all the time.
I mean, I think it's quite a difficult issue because on the one hand you've got attribution and credit and actually giving people the kind of Google juice, if you like.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, the BBC has got such an enormous page rank that any links from the BBC
would swamp it, would kill it.
well, it's not just that, but it's the whole issue of the BBC of not favouring one part of the market, if you like, over another.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I think we, you know, we've created a new blog, which I'm sure you've found, which I'm sure you've come across, called See Also, which is all about link journalism. It's all about saying this is how they're all reporting. Different people are reporting all over the place and linking to what they're doing. And I think, you know, I think that's part of a recognition more broadly within the organisation that we probably could be better at linking, and an attempt to improve our performance on that front. And I think you know, it's broadly succeeding.
So if someone does send in a picture, let's say of an event, what is the process of deciding whether to link back to that person's website or Flickr account or?
I mean, if we assume that the image is an appropriate image, we want to use it. I think we would then look at the relevance of the rest of his social media presence. If he happened to be walking down the street and saw a bomb go off and he sent in a picture of that, how useful would it be to the rest of the audience to see his blog about cake making? If he's, you know, I think we'd have to.
Is that not also about providing context, in a sense, like we're talking about the you know, giving context in terms of where this material is coming from and being able to make a judgment on how reliable that is, you know.
Yeah.
Does this person have an agenda? You know, who is this person?
Sure. And I think, you know, I think a lot of it, you know, editorial decisions, while guided by broad principles, are often on a case by, you know, often and almost, you know, increasingly in the field that we work in, on a case by case basis. So, you know, I think that would be the answer.
Okay.
Trusha's just joined us.
Hello.
Hi.
Trusha's done a lot of work on Twitter, on the way that we work on Twitter. Trusha's also working on kind of how we deal with the election. I've said that the election stuff, we'll talk about kind of some of the ideas, but this is not for wide.
Yeah, which I will now stop.